There is a weight you carry, the one nobody talks about. You sit there, money in the bank, a seat at the table, the title of limited partner, but inside, it's empty. You watch deals unfold, strategies play out, companies either soar or crash, and you feel frozen. Knowing you could do something, but not knowing how far or how deep you really can go without stepping on toes or breaking the unspoken rules. This is the silent struggle of the limited partner who dares to intervene. You see, being a limited partner isn't just about throwing money at opportunity and hoping it sticks. It's about being connected to something bigger, something alive, something that's supposed to move, to breathe, to grow. But here's the catch. The system keeps you at arm's length. You're on the sidelines, labeled limited for a reason. It's frustrating. The power you thought came with your title feels more like a cage. Watching passively while your investment might falter hurts more than you let on. The real pain? Feeling like your voice, your instincts, your hard-earned wisdom could change everything, but they get drowned out. Now, imagine what happens when you decide not to stay frozen anymore. When you realize intervention doesn't mean control, but responsibility. When you wake up to the truth that your involvement can shift the entire game, not by breaking the system, but by bending it toward real impact. Here's the first secret nobody tells you. Intervention isn't about micromanaging. It's not about turning into a dictator or a helicopter investor who tries to control every move. That path leads nowhere, except frustration, burnout, and thicker walls. Instead, real intervention is about language. The language of clarity, consequence, and courage. It's about learning how to truly listen first, then speak with purpose, only when silence risks everything. When you step into this role with intention, you become more than a checkbook. You become a catalyst. And catalysts don't just speed up reactions. They transform them. They ignite change in places where others see stagnation. That means understanding the people on the ground, the founders, the operators. These are humans, not just line items in a spreadsheet. When you interact as a human first, investor second, something shifts. Doors open, walls crumble, trust builds. But trust alone doesn't move mountains. It's what you do with it that counts. The next level of intervention is about setting limits. Clear, uncompromising limits. Too often, limited partners remain silent when something's clearly off, allowing bad decisions to spiral. Intervention is an act of courage to hold people accountable without breaking their spirit. It means saying, this investment deserves better. This team can go further. This strategy won't cut it. How do you develop that courage? By aligning with your highest purpose as an investor, to see your capital as fuel for real progress, not just numbers ticking upward. When you frame your involvement like this, intervening becomes liberation. For you, your partners, and the companies themselves. It's no longer interference. It's leadership. Here's the next truth. Timing is everything. Intervening too late means losses. Too early, and you suffocate growth. The mastery lies in reading signals, the unspoken nervous ticks in meetings, delayed responses, shifting priorities that don't line up with results. Being alert to these subtle hints requires dedication beyond spreadsheets and reports. It means being present in every sense. And how do you stay present when you have limited hours and a dozen deals? You create a system that lets you focus on quality over quantity. Choose where intervention is needed most. Focus on companies that hold the potential to transcend ordinary outcomes. Not every underperformance deserves your energy. Selectivity becomes your superpower. Invest your time where your impact multiplies. Alongside timing and focus, communication is your weapon. But not just any communication. Empathic, clear, actionable communication. The kind that cuts through ego and jargon, that cracks through fear and excuses. Speak the truth with respect, but without apology. Push for accountability, not from a place of superiority, but partnership. Encourage founders to see you not as a threat, but as an extension of their vision, a reality check, a sparring partner, sometimes a harsh mirror. Now, what about resisting the urge to control? That's the toughest part. You want to help, rescue, fix. But rescue missions rarely end well. Limited partners who intervene successfully do so by empowering teams rather than taking over. They offer resources, networks, advice, experience without smothering autonomy. They operate as trusted guides, never as dictators. This balance creates something magical. Alignment. Alignment between investor and founder, expectations and realities, vision and execution. It's not always smooth. Sometimes tough conversations break trust temporarily. But honest friction is better than silent surrender that spirals into disaster. Here's a game changer you rarely hear about. Use your position to inject fresh perspectives, to challenge comfortable consensus. Systems tend to reward safe bets and status quo. But progress comes from edge cases, those uncomfortable, bold moves that mainstream shies away from. When you intervene with insight, you spark innovation. You force founders to rethink assumptions, challenge markets, question truths everyone else takes for granted. And don't forget one of the greatest, most underutilized powers available to a limited partner: the network. Not your LinkedIn contacts or surface-level introductions, but deep, meaningful connections. Bringing together people who challenge and elevate each other creates ecosystems stronger than any company alone. Your intervention can weld unlikely alliances, uncover hidden opportunities, create pathways through obstacles. But intervention has a cost. It demands you become uncomfortable. It shakes your equilibrium. It challenges everything you believe about patience, control, and trust. You will face resistance from founders, from other investors, sometimes from yourself. The uncertainty will be intense, yet if you push through, you emerge transformed. You don't just watch the exponential growth of your investments, you experience the revitalization of your own role in the capital world. No longer a passive bystander, you become a force of change, someone who embodies the very rebellion against complacency the system fears. Remember this: intervention starts with owning your power. Not arrogance or entitlement, but deliberate ownership of your influence and its responsibility. It means shedding excuses and stepping into action, refusing to be a spectator in what could be a life-defining mission. At the core, this is about awakening the liberated individual, the limited partner who refuses to be limited by titles, accepted roles, or fear. You're not here to play small. You're here to disrupt quietly and effectively, to keep asking the tough questions that demand real answers, to remind the world that money is not just capital, it's potential waiting to be realized. This path isn't for everyone. It's not comfortable, and it's far from easy. But it's necessary, because when a limited partner truly intervenes, the ripple effects don't stop at one company. They cascade through industries, they reshape markets, they rewrite futures. So the question isn't, what happens when you intervene? The true question is, what happens if you don't? The silence, the inaction, that's the slow death of promise. But intervention, it's the spark that refuses to go out. It's the fire that burns through complacency, ignites vision, and demands the world be better, deeper, truer. every moment sitting on the sidelines is a moment lost. Every time you think, maybe I shouldn't, you're already losing ground. But when you decide to intervene, with humility, with clarity, with guts, you touch something sacred. You crack open the cage and you set free not just your investments, but your very purpose. The power to disrupt the system is in your hands, not by overthrowing, but by showing up. Not by shouting louder, but by listening deeper. Not by controlling everything, but by steering what matters. Your role is more than limited. It's limitless when you choose to be more than a name on a cap table. When you intervene, you don't just save deals. You grow movements, build legacies, forge futures. So step forward, speak up, intervene, not as a tyrant, but as a liberator. Because freedom isn't received, it's taken. And change isn't granted, it's made. This is your moment. Take it.